Today I wanted to talk to you about 3 key aspects of your technique that will help improve your accuracy and also reduce your group size. My name's James from @TopPinPerformance, and today I wanted to talk to you about 3 key aspects of your technique, starting off with your anchor point, followed up by your grip, and then also your release and follow through. So to begin with, we'll talk about your anchor point. So consistently drawing back and anchoring at the same spot ensures that you're looking down your bow sight or aiming off your arrow the same way every time. If you start anchoring in different points, such as if you drop your anchor point lower, what this will do if your bow arm stays the same, this will cant your arrow down and you'll start overshooting. The opposite occurs if you anchor higher, you start tilting that arrow down, aiming lower. So the key aspect here is to make sure that you're always finding the same anchor point. What I like to do is if I draw back with my compound bow, I like to make sure that my thumb, my index finger hit at the crease of this jawline here, right where that turn is. And that way I always come back, I find the same point, I hit that, and I hold and I anchor. With my traditional gear, it's kind of the same anchor point, but I draw back, get the fatty part of my thumb, make sure it's tucked in nice and tight against my jawline, and I try to make that consistent every time. This anchor point is super important with traditional gear, because if you start anchoring too short or too long, then you change your poundage of your bow, which is gonna thus change the power shooting it, changing your impact point. Same thing happens if I anchor higher or lower, I start canting that arrow up and down. Second, I want to talk about your grip. So in archery, it's super important to have a loose grip, and that way you're not torquing the bow up, down, left, or right. As we hold our bow out, you want it to make sure it fits in this fatty part of your thumb, coming straight down. You kind of want your hand, I like to usually hold here, have it here. Usually I just let my fingertips just touch the riser, touch the grip on the riser. And that way I have contact with it. It lets me feel secure on the bow, but I'm not torquing it one way or the other with my grip. Again, as you hold, if you start putting too much heel pressure, you start kicking that bow up. If you put too much hand pressure, you start tilting down after you release. That can cause your arrow to kick off that riser differently. Same thing with wrist torque. If you start really gripping, you can start torquing the bow one way or the other, and that's going to cause your impact point to change. So lastly, I want to talk about your release and follow through. This is super important, as a lot of people get super punchy. They just hold, they lose back tension, they just punch, and then the bow goes off. If you lose your back tension, you can kind of start to collapse in. For a right-handed shooter, you start missing to the right. Left-handed shooter, you miss to the left. So what you always want to make sure is that you have a constant back tension on that. And I like to make sure we're squeezing through that shot, pulling through, pulling back. And that way we have a good follow through. We're not torquing, one way or the other, causing that bow to cant. Again, with traditional equipment, this is super important as you anchor back, making sure you're pulling to a consistent same point. A lot of people like to use clickers for this just as a training aid. It's not allowed in all competitions. But that clicker, what it does is as you hit the anchor point and you start pulling back in your shot, that arrow will move. It just varies so slightly. Past that clicker, once it clicks, boom, you pull, let that string glide off your fingertips and release that arrow. Consistency is key to accuracy. We want to do the same thing every time to have the same point of impact. And this way you can really fine tune your bow and find those aiming references to achieve the highest score possible or to make an ethical shot on an animal. If you need help working on your technique or overcoming any injuries that are preventing you from participating in archery, click the link in bio and sign up for a free consultation. I can help you out. Or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments or shoot me a DM. Thank you.